Welcome to Undisputed live from Los Angeles. I'm Alex Kerr here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys. Happy Friday. How we doing?
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, you don't mind me, Skip. You don't mind me, do you, Skip? You don't mind if I do this, do you? Breakfast, Chef, this was good stuff, Skip. Why you just not turning me on to this? Man, this so good. You've been hiding all this good old...
Have another swig. You deserve it.
Whoa! I feel like Donovan Mitchell. Now I don't tell you what's going to happen. I might go off today.
So, I would like to congratulate my partner, Shannon Sharpe, for beating me twice on Diet Mountain Dew bets last night.
Yeah.
He crushed me. He had two rare, very rare victories. And in honor of those victories, I deserve to be punished today. So I'm going to display these because I'm wearing loser sneakers today. I had to join the James gang. I had to resort to wearing, for the first time in the history of Undisputed, something other than Jordans. I wore LeBron 18s because I lost. And in honor of LeBron's losing and being out, where is LeBron? I've lost track of where he is.
Working out.
Oh, is he? Yeah, he's probably working out in St. Kitts. I deserve today to wear losers' sneakers. I lost. I am condemned to wear these for 2.5 hours, and it makes me sick, and I apologize, Michael, Jeffrey, Jordan, wherever you are. It will never, ever happen again because I will never, ever again lose a bet to this man.
You know what happened? Ever since Monday when you came out here with them Jolly Ranchers. You remember them Jolly Ranchers?
Do I?
The Jolly Ranchers. You up there kiki and now look at you.
Kawhi's. Yep.
Ooh.
I hope you enjoy your moment because it's not going to last very long.
I got more moments to come. You think this the end? You think this the end for me?
This is why they play 7-game series in the National Basketball Association.
It's not going 7.
Here we go.
Well, let's dive right into it because the Clippers continue to have no answer for Donovan Mitchell. The Jazz guard had a game-high 37 points in Utah's 117-111 win last night to take a 2-0 series lead. Now, the Clippers took a brief lead in the fourth quarter, but then missed 9 straight shots and fell behind by 10 with 3 minutes to play. So, Shannon, did the Jazz win it or did the Clippers blow it?
The Jazz won it, and they've done this in the 2 games, Skip. They've won in a myriad of different ways. They fall behind by 13 points, get down by as many as 14 after missing 20 consecutive shots. And they find a way, they claw their way out. Donovan Mitchell goes bonkers, and he scores 45, and they win that ball game. Even though the auxiliary guys did not play very well. This game, the Jazz jump out to a 21-point lead. The Clippers come all the way down, come all the way back, take a 2-point lead. And the difference between this series and the last series, once they took the ball out of Luka's hands, nobody else seemed to can go get their own shot, could go make a shot. You took the ball out of Donovan Mitchell's hands last night, and what happened? Bogdan, bomb 3. Joe Ingles, I told you, and I told you yesterday, Skip, I said, you actually think Bogdan going to keep shooting this bad from the 3? You keep thinking Joe Ingles going to shoot this bad from the 3? You actually believe that, don't you?
You are a genius.
You're a genius.
I've never seen anything like it before.
No.
Your basketball acumen is savant level. It's scary.
Yeah. When it comes to this basketball thing, I'm a Mensa member. When it comes to this basketball, I'm a Mensa member.
I've never seen anything like it before. That's why I'm up 45 cases.
No, you up 40. You up 40.
I'm sorry, 40. I am in that.
And not only is Bogdan making threes, what is he doing to your guy? The best player on the planet. What are you doing to him, Skip? Locked him. 2 points in the fourth quarter.
That's the way he used to lock down LeBron.
Don't do that.
When Indiana played Cleveland. Do you remember those days?
Don't do that. We're not talking about LeBron.
Yeah.
This is about the Kawhi. This is about the Utah Jazz and the number they're doing on your Clippers right now. Skip, you got to be impressed with them because normally what happens when you have that big of a lead and it gets whittled all the way down and the team takes a lead, it normally breaks your spirit. It breaks your will. You're like, damn, we have a 21-point lead and here we are, we're behind now. But I like the grit. I like the determination. They say, no, not tonight. And Donovan Mitchell, and I give Ty Lue credit, Skip. He saw that he couldn't do anything with him. He went to a zone. And the zone got him off kilter a little bit because they're swinging the ball around the perimeter. Well, in the zone, you got to attack the middle. And then you drive and you kick it. Let Rudy Gobert drive to the rim, or you kick it to those shooters. And that's what started to happen. They started to crack that zone, kick. Guys got some open threes, and they won the ball game. Reggie Jackson saved your guy's legacy because this was about to be a blowout. If he doesn't go bonkers in the third quarter, Skip, this thing's about to get out of hand. But Reggie Jackson, he looked like Mr. October, the original Reggie Jackson with the way he played in the third quarter. He's playing unbelievable. But, Skip, you got your work cut out for you. This is a different Jazz team than what we saw last year that had a three that was down three, that blew a 3-1 lead. They're different.
They are.
They're very different. Donovan Mitchell is the best player in this series right now.
Aren't they the same guy?
No.
They look just the same to me.
No.
I don't know.
You remember Denver? They had Denver down in the fourth quarter, the game 7, and Denver came back and got them. No, you're not coming back and getting these guys. Spider Mitchell's on a different level. The role players are different. They can take and make big shots, not only early but late when it matters. They won this game. The Clippers didn't lose it. They won it.
So, once again, I got to get a different television. I need a new update. That black and white that I watch, it's just
with the
hazy and shady, and I can't. You see a very different game way up there in the hills of Beverly Hills.
Well, stop watching it on your iPad.
Yeah,
Watch it on a regular TV.
I've got the rabbit ears on my TV.
Yeah, I know you do, with Tim Fall on them.
I saw a very different game.
Okay.
This Clipper team is going to be the death of me. This Clippers team, my Clippers, are going to put me in an earlier grave. My Clippers, as I told you a week ago when the Dallas series concluded, are simply the most frustrating team in playoff games I have ever attempted to watch. It got so bad for me last night, I couldn't watch my TV anymore. I literally went around the corner and just listened because somehow just listening didn't hurt as much as watching and hearing at the same time. I could not look at the screen. I just waited for the roar of the crowd. And I got to tell you, that crowd, it's an insane asylum. It is an insane asylum at Utah because it comes through my TV and hits me with such force. It actually knocks me back in my chair when they make a three, and the roar is so it's so overwhelming. It's like a feeding frenzy of 3-point shots, and every time they make one, it feels like a 6-point shot instead of a 3-point shot. I've never heard anything coming through my TV quite like this. And then they're banging all their things, and Kawhi's missing a free throw because there's stuff going on behind the basket that they haven't seen for a couple of years.
You are the most superstitious person I've ever met.
That is correct. You can verify that with my wife and my dog. Thank you very much.
Let's go around the corner.
Okay. So, once again, here we go again. The Clippers just have to do it the hardest way. I'm not discouraged by what I saw because I saw a Clippers team that was right there in both games. I saw a Clippers team that for long stretches showed me they're superior to your team, the Utah Jazz. I saw it with my own eyes. I saw my team in game 1 be up 13 at half and then blow it and then still manage to rally down the stretch and have a shot to tie it at the end of regulation.
Right.
Well, there's no real shame in that. And then in game 2, I saw my Clippers fall behind in the third quarter by 21 points. 21 points. Are you believing this? With 9:27 left in the third quarter, the score went to 76-55 home team. And what happened? A 46-23 run happened. My team blew your team off the floor in Utah in the insane asylum, 46-23. They beat them by 23 points over a fairly lengthy stretch that culminated with a big exclamation point as my man, Mr. October, who is now Mr. June, Reggie Jackson hits yet another three to put them up 101-99 with 6:37 left in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
And I'm looking at Ballmer over there, and he's doing all this crazy stuff, and everybody with hymns up just applauding. And it's like, we got this. We got him on the run. And then I see Donovan Mitchell over on there he is. Thank you, right on cue. He's kicking a chair over. And I'm thinking, did he hurt his foot again? You know, like this is like huge frustration. And it feels like the air has suddenly gone completely out of the crowd. And then you know and I know what happened next. Nothing good for my Clippers, because then they gave up an 18-10 run down the stretch to lose the game 117-111 by 6. And you gave me 3.5 points, and you're in huge trouble with 6 minutes left. You're in huge trouble because again and again, I had the ball in our hands with shots to put you away because I've still got a cushion of 3.5 points.
Right.
And here we go. I'm going to count the ways that the Clippers blew this game, because from that Reggie Jackson shot, 6:37 left, that put them up 101-99. Would you believe my Clippers proceeded to miss 9 straight shots? 9 straight shots. Yeah. And they're not hard shots. They're open shots. They're thank you, God shots in the insane asylum, where all you need to do is maybe make 1 or 2 of them, and you're right there. Maybe if you make 3 of them, you win the game. And if we could see them in order, please. It starts with a Nicholas Batum miss from the corner, which he's deadly on. It starts with Batum. This is with 6:02 left. Kicks it to Batum, and he's got a nice shot, and it just lips out, and that's to go up 3. And then the next one, I got a Marcus Morris. This is wide open. This is my man Marcus Morris, who hit 7 out of 9 against Dallas. That's to go up 2.
Yeah, but you remember what he's been in the last 2 games.
And here we go with the Patrick Beverly miss.
You actually
wide open.
You thought that was going to go in?
He was 0 for 5 in the game, and that's to go up 2. Then we're another Marcus Morris here. Marcus Morris. Where's Marcus? Where's Marcus? There he is. There he's not. Marcus Morris. What? You missed again?
Yep.
That's to go up 1. And then we got another Pat Bev, little runner in the lane. And it's up, and it's not up. And that's to cut it to 5. And then one more time, please, Marcus Morris. Pretty open shot, fairly open shot, and he misses it. That's
what about Kawhi's tip? What about Kawhi's tip?
This is a tip.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure. Okay. Don't try to speed past that. That's PG.
Okay. That's PG.
Yeah, when the game mattered, what was PG doing?
And it climaxes here with another Mr. June little step back from the corner, down the baseline, and he misses that. That was to cut it to 8. So I just showed you the litany of misses. I just showed you that my man Marcus Morris went, let me count the ways. 0 for 5 from 3. So wait a second. My man Marcus Morris, and what did I tell you yesterday? I'm starting to think that the Clippers go as Marcus Morris goes. He was 1 for 9 from 3 in game 1. He was 0 for 5, including 3 huge misses down the stretch of that game when it's just begging for the Clippers to steal it. And that makes him 1 for 12 from 3 over the last 2 games. Marcus Morris, who went 7 of 9 in Game 7 against Dallas. Marcus Morris, who in Game 3 on a fateful Friday night, what would that be, 2 weeks ago? He made 3 threes from that far corner in Dallas to just salt the game away. He just shot their hearts out in a packed house in Dallas, Game 3 on Friday night. Whew. And now he's 1 for 12, and all of a sudden he's turned into the evil twin. Marcus Morris is not the evil twin. He's the driving force of my team. He's the guts and clutch shooter. He's actually the closer for my team. And I've got him missing 3 and my team missing 9 straight shots. And it drives me out of my mind because you were cooked. You were shot. It's not like they turned up the heat on defense. I just showed you those shots.
Turn it up.
Like 7 of them are just wide open, and maybe 2 of them are fairly contested, but they're makeable shots. And you don't make 1 shot out of 9, and the thing slips away to a 10-point game?
Skip, you keep saying there's no shame in losing and playing the way they played. But if you're the best team, you told me this is the best team. You tell me every single weekday we come in here, Jeff Van Gundy says this is the deepest team.
He said so it's if you're the best in the West.
Okay, so they got to be shamed. You losing, you're the best. But see, here's the difference, Skip. The fact of the matter is Utah, the shots that they're missing, those are the guys you want to take the shot. You want Marcus Morris Sr. to take that shot. You want Nicholas Batum to take that shot. You want Reggie Jackson to take that shot. You want it because guess what? Because it's throwing Kawhi off his rhythm. See, you don't get that. That when Reggie Jackson gets hot, it's throwing the other guys off that need the ball. It's throwing them off their rhythm. That's why they don't care.
It was significant in this stretch of 9 straight misses.
But Kawhi
got no real shot because he had 1 tip chance that missed, but he got no shot. No play appeared to be called for Kawhi. Let's just get Kawhi the ball and let him do what he does.
Bogdan had him locked in solitary.
Locked up, yeah. Okay, we'll see how much he's locked up.
Bogdan had him locked up
tomorrow night. So here's the point about the Clippers. They have to do it the hardest way. that they went to Dallas and won a game 3 on that fateful Friday night in which Dallas made 23-point shots, just as Utah did last night. But I told you won 2 bets. I already said
You ain't
that.
telling people what the bets were.
Well, did they make 20 and they lucked into 20? I'm going to show you how they lucked into it in just a second. But the point was that Dallas made 23s and lost a home playoff game, and it was the first time in playoff history, NBA playoff history, that a home team had made 20 or more and lost.
Right.
And the Clippers pulled that off. Well, guess what? No team in NBA history has ever gone down 0-2 twice in the postseason and lived to tell about it.
Correct.
No team has ever advanced off 2 0-2 downs. Correct. And now the Clippers have a chance to make more NBA history. Yes. But again, you were very fortunate because I want to show you one of the threes that you got from Jordan Clarkson at the near the end of the third quarter. Can we see this one? There's a little bit of a I didn't call bank shot, one of these. He's over here totally contested.
Pull up, JC.
Heavily contested, and he accidentally banks it in. And I could count that as that might have been your 20th three that won you the bet.
Yeah, that
right?
was it right there.
Okay.
I needed that one.
All right. Thank you very much. Try this one more time. Is that not heavily contested?
The air just goes out of the coaching staff, the sideline.
Oh, my God.
Luke Kennard just throws it.
Luke Kennard said, I can't do it any better than that, right? So then we're back to your man, Joe Ingles. I've never been a big Joe Ingles guy. I'm sorry, because I look at him, and my first thought is always, how is he in the NBA? Well, not only is he in the NBA, but he was runner-up for Sixth Man of the Year. It was between him and his teammate who just lucky banked that one in, right?
Yep.
And yet that guy did me the most damage last night, because that guy, if we could see the first shot that he made after Reggie Jackson's big bomb that makes it 101-99, here's Joe Ingles. He throws it off the top of the freaking backboard. And this is when I yelled to Ernestine. She wouldn't even come in my room because I'm watching.
You lose your mind, yes.
And I yelled to her, that's it, I lost. Because if he's going to make it off the top of the backboard, I can't win this game. It's just your night. If Jordan Clarkson's going to bank it, lucky bank it in, and then he's going to make one off the top of the backboard, I just said, I'm cooked. But Skip, I'm done.
But this was really the backbreaker here, is that you let it walk into a three.
All right. And that was your 20th three, and that was the killer, because that made it a 10-point game. And the way he shoots it, he can't jump. He just shoots it up. It's kind of Bird-esque, except he's a very poor man's Larry Bird.
Because a lot of times, Skip, he'll just catch the ball in all in one motion. He doesn't even bring it down. He catch it up here.
He caught one in the corner in the first half, and he just caught it up there and just shot it.
Yep.
Like he didn't even change directions. He just wrist flicked it.
Yes.
And it looks awkward because he's left-handed. It's like everything's backward and wrong about him. And he killed me last night. Can he do that for 7 games? I don't think so.
But Skip,
can he do it for 3 games? I don't think so.
But here's the thing. They're going to take and they're going to make a bunch of threes, because you said they led the NBA. They was going to set a record in the most threes made. So they average making about 17 a game. So they're right on cue. If you look at what they get, 17 the first game, so they're right on cue, 14 the first game. So they're right on par with where they are. So to hope that they're going to come back is not going to. The thing that you guys got to do is that Spider Mitchell is outplaying your 2 superstars head to head. Okay. That's the difference in the ball game, Skip. He's outplayed them both times by himself.
Okay. Now, speaking of Donovan Mitchell, and I remind our faithful viewers, I was the one pushing for Donovan Mitchell to be Rookie of the Year, and you were down on Donovan Mitchell, and you were up on Ben Simmons.
Right, Ben Simmons should have been Rookie of the Year.
So just for the record, I love Donovan Mitchell. I campaigned for him to be Rookie of the Year. Right. And yet, here's what I just saw happen with Donovan Mitchell. In the third quarter and the fourth quarter of game number 1, he scored 16 and 16. That's 32 points in the second half. Right. That's when you just tip your cap.
Right.
That's when you say, too good, thank you very much. Right. Next, right? 16 in the third, 16 in the fourth. Then we open up last night, and he goes 14 in the first and 13 in the second. Yeah. It's impossibly good. And I yelled to Ernestine, that's just too good. Yeah. Like if that's who you are and that's what you're going to do, then this isn't going to last very long, because that is unstoppable. That's unguardable, because he's shooting with such range. It's like Steph, it's like Dame, except he's stronger than they are. He plays like a fullback. You know, this
he's
guy.
He's kind of built like a fullback.
He is a fullback.
He doesn't have an NBA body. He has like a football player's body.
Okay, so think of this. So if I take the span of those 4 quarters, which is like the equivalent of 1 game, That's 59 points over those 4 quarters. And here are the numbers. 22 of 32 from the floor. That's 69%. 9 of 15 from 3. That's 60%. That's just too good. Yet, what happened? They did go to zone, as you point out. That was a sweet move. It's desperate, but I loved it.
Right.
Because it was discombobulating. It took the crowd out of the game.
Right.
It took the rhythm out of the game. They were just a little bit off guard for a while, where they couldn't find a rhythm to attack the zone. And so all of a sudden, your man, Spider Mitchell, he goes for a grand total of 3 points in the 3rd quarter on 1 of 6 shooting, and then he scored 7 in the 4th, which is beatable. You can beat 7 because he goes 3 of 7, but 0 of 1 from 3.
Right.
So your man, Spider Mitchell, made 1 3 in the 2nd half. I can live with that.
Right.
I can beat that. I can't beat Joe Ingles making it off the top of the backboard.
But that's the thing, though, Skip. The difference is that when Lucas struggled down the stretch, nobody else can make a shot.
I don't know. Tim Hardaway was making a whole bunch of shots.
Tim Hardaway, did you see in game 7, Finney-Smith and Luka was 9 of 18. Everybody else was 1 of 18. So clearly they weren't making shots down the stretch. You look at this team, Joe Ingles, Bogdanovich, even Royce O'Neal got into the action. And because you got to understand, Skip, you're asking Bogdanovich and Ingles to do a lot because they're playing Paul George and they're playing Kawhi. So we got to try to neutralize them. But on the other end, on the offensive end, I still need you to give me my production. And so maybe that's what's taking a lot out of Kawhi because you're asking him to do a lot, Skip.
Yep.
Okay, stay in front of Donovan Mitchell and still give us the 35 like you gave us in against Dallas. So Donovan Mitchell is a handful. Now, I need somebody to tell me, Skip, how many points do you think Donovan Mitchell would have had if the 2 greatest wing defenders since Pip and Jordan with Pat Bev, if they were really, really bad at defense? He got 27, and they're supposed to be elite.
Speaking of Pat Bev, okay, I realize it was a desperation move. By the way, my guy, Playoff Rondo, played a grand total of 0 last night.
DMP.
0.
DMP.
I'm looking at this list on the box score, and I have to go to the very bottom of the list, right? Rajon Rondo, DNP coach's decision. Didn't play a second in this game, but Patrick Beverley played 21 minutes in this game because he is a defensive disruptor.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you have to go both ways in basketball.
Right.
And so every time he was called upon to make just one shot, just help us with one little shot, he goes 0 for 5.
Right.
And I got to tell you, I love Patrick Beverley. I just like him personally. I like what he's made of. He is sort of the heart and soul and the guts of the Clippers. But on offense now, he's looking a little like long in the tooth, like he's looking like he's nearing the end on offense.
Well, Skip, he's never been an elite level offensive player. His bone, like you said, he'll force turnovers. He'll get up into you.
But I have seen him make threes at a pretty good pace.
Yes.
He'll make big threes. Well, didn't last night.
There's a big moment here, Skip.
Okay.
These are big moments.
What have I told you about my Clippers? They're not the same old Clippers. No, they're not, because this team has playoff backbone.
Where?
It's not like where? A 46-23 run when you're down 21? You're kidding me. To fight back in game 1 and bring it down to a last-second possible shot to tie, that's guts. That's intestinal fortitude I've never seen from any Clippers team. That's why they're going to win game 3. That's why you ultimately will be in trouble. Mark my words and eat my words.
We're coming back to Utah up 3-1.
Okay, we'll see about that.
The Bucks have avoided a sweep by taking down the Knicks 86-83 in Milwaukee last night. Giannis and Chris Middleton combined for 68 points, good for 79% of their team's points, which is a playoff record from a duo. Now, Kevin Durant finished with 30 and had a long look at a potential game-tying three-pointer, but couldn't connect. So, Shannon, on a scale of 1 to 10, how impressed were you by the Bucks' win?
3. That wasn't impressive. Skip, what's the likelihood of KD and Kyrie going 20 or 50 from the floor? What's the likelihood of them going 5 or 16 from the three-point line? Not very likely. So there's nothing to be impressed about. Skip, this This game, I thought I was like, well, damn, who put me in a time machine and sent me back to the 90s? Skip, this is where the Knicks and the Pacers used to play. This is, a 76, 83 type ball game.
Yep.
And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking in the first quarter, I'm like, okay, Milwaukee, you doing what you need to do. On a miss, get out and run before they can set up. Because once they set up, Giannis is in trouble. Okay, well, I'm like, okay, look at Giannis. And then all of a sudden, they stopped running, they couldn't run, and Giannis couldn't make a shot. Skip, look, I do not believe that the Nets will play this bad throughout the rest of the playoffs. Skip, they were great on offense this year. And you mean to tell me they're going to shoot 36% from the floor and 25% from the three? And they still had a chance to win the game? These two teams combined for 238 points in the regular season. They got 169 last night between the two of them. That's 69 points less than what they normally get. That's the biggest dip since 1972 and the second largest dip in NBA history. So this was really an ugly game. It got to be real ugly real fast. I did not see this game coming, Skip, especially the way the game started out. But give the Nets credit because just like what we saw with Dallas, race out to that big lead on the Clippers, and what happened? Clippers reel them in. Yep. The exact same thing happened. KD and Bruce Brown was playing unbelievable, helped reel them in. But, Skip, I'm not impressed with this. Giannis got, man, if he could just shoot from 10 feet, forget the three, Skip. I don't even know why. Why are you shooting threes?
Well, he was 1 for 8.
Yeah, exactly. Stop shooting the three.
And the one he made, I was like, how'd that go in?
Skip, have it ever dawned on somebody, if they leave you that wide open, they probably want you to take that shot. There's a reason why they hang it out up under the basket while you out by the three-point line by yourself. Don't nobody do that to Dame. Don't nobody do that to Steph.
He launches these rainbows up to the rafters, and when they leave his hand, I'm not sure if they're going to miss the rim or maybe hit the rim. It's like 50-50 on whether it's going to hit the rim.
I like when they show the back view because I'm looking like, oh, he already know that's not any good. Because he can see what I can see. That's all. Skip, I'm not impressed with this. I don't believe they dodged a bullet. Now, Holiday did hit the game-winning basket, but Holiday has not played well this series. No. Now, maybe, Skip, he's exerting a lot of effort trying to stay in front of Kyrie. Now, he has his hand full with that, and he's done a great job. Kyrie hadn't been as efficient as he normally is. But this type of performance, I don't believe we'll see KD and Kyrie play this bad. Skip, I haven't seen anything like this. 2 players from the winning team was in double figures. They scored their first 30 points. 3 guys from the other team was in double figures. Yep. That's only the eighth time in the last 10 postseason that 5 or fewer players have been in double figures. Skip, it really was it wasn't a pretty game to watch. I don't care if you're a purist. This is not a pretty game to watch with all the bricks, with all the clanking that was going on. But I'm gonna give it a 3. Milwaukee, this wasn't good to me.
I'm going to give it a 1 on the impressive scale. And I mightily agree with you. This was a bricklayer's convention. This was hard on the eyes, but in the end, wildly exciting for mostly the wrong reasons.
Right.
And if you'd told me going into the game last night that the home team, in what was basically a do-or-die game,
yes, absolutely,
would shoot 37.8% from the floor and 19.4% from 3. That's 19% from 3 and survive that game.
Oh, you're getting blown out.
Against the Nets? You're kidding me.
Yes.
So I tweeted late in the game, one of these two teams is going to be sick that it lost this game.
Right.
And the Nets have to be sick because they had them. It's the old foot on the throat. You got them. And maybe both teams are choking. Maybe they're pressing because one team's just trying to live or die. It's trying to survive.
Trying to survive, yes.
And the other team knows that the home team is begging to be eliminated. Like it's going to be 3-0. And they can't quite get over the hump. And I'm going to show you the first time that they couldn't get over the hump because this was the key of the game to me. If we could see the shot Joe Harris took. This is with 52 seconds left.
Wide open one?
Yes, and this is to go up 3. This is Joe Harris. He gets it. Look, there's nobody guarding him. This is a former three-point shootout champion.
I think that bobble skip got him.
Maybe it did, but do you realize Joe Harris went 1 of 11 last night?
Yeah.
You realize he went 1 of 7 from 3? There are nights when he cannot miss.
Now you know what LeBron went through with him in Cleveland.
Well, that was before he became Joe Harris. They didn't give him a chance. They didn't know what they had.
Yeah, they know what they had.
I don't think they did.
A bricklayer like they had last night.
He won the three-point shootout. There are games when he'd go 10 of 10. There are games that he shoots threes like they're free throws.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Like game one.
He goes 1 of 11? Are you kidding me? It's like again and again and again. Joe Harris has wide open chances because they're, obviously they're KD dominant. It's where's KD and then where's Kyrie, and we don't care about him. If he beats us, he beats us.
So be it.
And he couldn't beat them last night. 1 for 11. And now we come to my guy, Bruce Brown. I believe I was first on this show to tell you early in this year, I said, do you realize what Bruce Brown can do for this team? And you pretty much laughed at me. You scoffed at me.
Yeah, I did.
Because Bruce Brown's like 6'4" out of University of Miami, and he's just like a nobody, but he can play defense at a high level.
He's very good.
And they have found him to be their facilitator in the lane on offense, which I did not see coming.
Right.
But they sort of move the ball in and out to Bruce Brown, or they pick and roll with him, and he cuts down the lane. And for the first, until the last couple of minutes of the game, he was 8 of 15 and scored 16 points because he kept making little running floaters in the lane.
Over Blake, over Brook Lopez.
Yeah, and sometimes over Giannis he made a couple of them, and I was impressed, but he plays his role until he lost his mind. Bruce Brown lost his mind and the basketball game last night because if we could see what happened when they're up 1 with 20 seconds left, this is the first one, he just takes the ball and decides it's his game. And he shoots one of his little runners, except he doesn't get very close to the basket. It's a little deeper in the lane.
Well, Skip, he had made like 3 of those shots earlier, so he's feeling good.
This was a little rush, but this is for the game. This is one of those do or die kind of shots. And he missed it. And I immediately tweeted, I don't want Bruce Brown taking that shot to win that game.
The Bucks do, though.
Well, they did. So what happens? The Bucks go the other way with the ball, and the coaching staff's just saying, go. They're not going to call
Don't let them get set. Don't let them get set. Go.
Here comes Drew Holiday. Here comes Drew Holiday. And Bruce Brown got back on him and thought he had him and thought he had him, and then he spun on him and made a layup. And I'm going to be objective about this. I always tell you, Kevin Durant is the best player on the planet. And I'll get to his offensive game in just a minute. But I thought Kevin, who was playing the backside defense, and he had P.J. Tucker in the far corner. I know you have to honor him a little bit.
Yeah, but
I thought Kevin needed to just break on this ball because Kevin can block shots at the rim.
He's doing an unbelievable job. But Skip, I think the thing was that Kevin thought they were going to make him spin to the middle.
I guess
and he had help.
He got
Skip, your help is in the middle, so you can't give up the backside. Don't let him spin baseline on you. You got no help.
It was a sweet spin,
Yes.
too. And it shocked me. I didn't see it coming. And he got to the glass before Kevin could react. And the rest is history because here they came down. They still had a chance, obviously, to get up a shot to maybe win the game, right?
Yeah, it reminded you of the play, Skip. You remember Atlanta Knicks when Thibodeau put the guy in just for defensive purposes.
He did.
And all you got to do, here come Taj Gibson coming to help you, and you let him go to the opposite side in which Taj is coming. Okay, you got help to the middle. Force him to the middle. Just don't give up the baseline, and you good.
Okay, so Bruce Brown's not finished because there's one more play. And here we go again. If we can see this inbounds play, and it's kind of a disaster, and the ball gets loose, and somehow Bruce Brown winds up with it. He just says, I'm going. I'm going all the way. I know he's got the clock in his head is going haywire, like he thinks, I got to get it up. And he tries to shoot a driving left-handed layup over Brook Lopez. It ain't happening. And it's Bruce Brown. And I'm thinking, where's KD on this play? Well, he's over there waving for the basketball. Like, remember me?
Right.
Well, Bruce, do you remember who you're playing? You're playing with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and you got to find them. Your instinct has to be, where are my guys?
But see, Skip, in a situation like that, the clock's running down. It's already helter-skelter. It's already, we all over the place. I was worried about somebody from the Bucks getting out of position because now, Skip, we see the ball on the ground. Now everybody goes for the ball. Now somebody leaves a man wide open.
It had potential.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. But you know, Skip, in baseball, when they make us the defensive substitution, somehow the ball always finds him. Or a defensive back comes in when the starter DB get hurt. Somehow the ball, they find where he is and they throw the ball. The ball somehow the last 2 possessions ended up in Bruce Brown's hand.
Somehow, some way. And he's a good kid. He fights his butt off. Yes. But all of a sudden he lost his mind like, I got this. Because he's been he's been an important cog in the system.
He's played well.
He's played very well, but you have to know, as Clint Eastwood once said, as Dirty Harry, man has to know his limitations. You got to know that there's a point of no return. I can't do that.
Right.
I got to make sure my shooters, my superstars get the basketball on those two possessions, and he did not do that.
You just showed the tape of the game before. Look who's taking the shots. Everybody that's taking the shot is who Utah wants to take the shot.
That is
correct.
correct.
There are three guys that the Bucks don't want to take that shot. They don't want Joe Harris getting that shot. They don't want Kyrie, and they don't want KD.
That is correct.
I live with Blake Griffin taking a shot. I live with Bruce Brown taking a shot.
Yep.
But those other three guys, I do not want them shooting that shot.
That is correct. And yet, in the bitter end, Kevin Durant did get a reasonable look, even though P.J. was all over him the whole game and tried to foul him on this play because they had a foul to give him. I think he was just trying to foul him.
Right.
And Kevin got a decent look and sort of side slung it from deep on three. And
just grab him. He should have just grabbed him right there, Skip. Just grab him right there.
You know what? It was online. It just back iron.
Yeah.
But it was online. And for a second, I thought that was down. And Giannis said from his perspective, he thought it was right online, and he was fearful that it was going to hit nothing but net. So the point is, my man Kevin Durant. So when the game was begging to be taken in the first half, he goes 2 of 10. Well, that's not the best player on the planet.
Right.
And he couldn't quite find a rhythm. Then he started in the third quarter. It was herky-jerky rhythm, but he started to find it. So for the second half, he's 9 of 18, scored 23. In the fourth, he's 5 of 9, and made that one big three that put them in position.
Those last three possessions before Bruce Brown, I was like, man, KD going to win this game by himself because he couldn't miss.
He couldn't miss, and I thought it was his game on a silver platter to take. And if you take that game, you take their hearts.
Oh, yeah, it's over.
Right?
It's over. It's
over. But now you gave them some life. But I'm with you. I'm even less impressed than you are because in the end, to me, the Bucks have to know deep down how lucky they were to just dodge that bullet.
Correct.
Because they dodged it, and now you get another chance. And we're going to talk about this a little later, but you realize they were 2.5-point favorites last night, and all of a sudden, they're 3.5-point underdogs in the next game.
Yeah, the odds makers say, we saw what y'all did.
Yeah, that's what they did. And the betting public is saying, we saw what you got away with.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So in the end, not impressed. Giannis, not impressive.
No. Chris Middleton redeemed himself.
Well, he saved their bacon, man.
Chris, Skip, he's the master of the mid-range. You keep talking about great mid-range shooters. Chris Middleton was trying to get to that mid-range. Now, he can shoot the three, but he really wants to get that 15 feet, 18 feet, and pull up on you. He matched KD down the stretch. Everything KD was doing, he's like, KD, I'm going to come back with you. But I love what I saw from KD the last couple of possessions. He said, I got Chris Middleton.
Yep. He did.
I got him.
He did.
Bruce Brown, get out the way.
Look what Chris winds up with. And he's an all-star now, but he gets 35 and 15 rebounds.
Yes.
Well, that's what saved them.
Yes.
Not Giannis.
No, Giannis. Because, Skip, Chris Middleton got a mid-range game. If Giannis can't get all the way to the rim, I can't put the ball in his hands because I can't trust him if they foul him to make the free throws. At least if they foul Chris Middleton, he's an 80+% free throw shooter. So because Giannis is so limited offensively, he either putting his head down, Euro step and layup dunk. Well, we build a wall. We're going to make you shoot it. Chris Middleton, what did he do? Mid-range, lay it up.
I'm not even sure the Nets were building a wall. I just think they had Blake just stationed in the middle of the lane. He just said, you can't come in here.
As long, Skip, the thing that Claxton was doing early, he was retreating.
He was.
You can't retreat on him now because he's 7 foot tall.
Just take your stand and stay there.
Yes. Make him run through you.
Right.
Because, and foul him. Have you seen him shoot free throws?
I've seen too much because it's interminable, and they finally called him again on another one.
Yes.
Where he went over 10 seconds, and it was actually 12 seconds.
They need to do something about this now. All of them are over 10 seconds. Either let them go or call them all because he's taking 12, 15 seconds on all his shots. Not just that last one.
Here's the one. It's endless, and he
got the yips, Skip.
And he's doing himself, and he's got the yips. Where it's like in golf where you can't even take the putter back or the driver back.
Right.
You know, where you just can't even pull the trigger. Like he's afraid to shoot it.
Yes.
And after a while, you just say, just get a new routine. Do one dribble and just let it go. You'll have a better shot.
What was that? Like Steve Sachs or Chuck Knobloch from second base? Skip?
You just lose it.
He throwing the ball up in the stands.
That is correct. That's what's happened to him at the free throw line. I do agree.
All right, guys, let's move back to the West and talk about Skip's Clippers, because the Clippers find themselves down 0-2 for the second straight series. Game 3 this time will be in L.A. for Kawhi and company, and according to Fox Bet Sportsbook, the Clippers are a 4.5-point favorites against the Jazz on Saturday. So, Shannon, who wins Game 3, Utah or L.A.?
You know what, Skip? I'm going to give y'all Game 3. But you're coming back to Utah down 3-1. Now, you're coming back to Utah on 3-1. Now, how you want to do it, Skip? You want to go down, you want to be 0-3, or you want to be 3, how you want to do it? You want to start 0-3, you want to start 2-1, and then be 3-1 coming back to Utah. But that's going to happen. I just want you to know that. I'm just preparing you for this, Skip. Look, at the end of the day, you got to fight. They still haven't found the answer for Donovan Mitchell. That's the problem, because he's outplayed your two top guns head-to-head by himself. He's outplayed both of them. Okay, now we're going to make it superstar for superstar. So now we're going to make it auxiliary guys. You got Batum, you got Marcus Morris, you got Reggie Jackson, you got Rondo, whomever, Luke Kennard, whomever, Zubats, whomever you want to come with. I'll take Bogdanovich. I'll take Joe Ingles. I'll take Royce O'Neal. I'll take Rudy Gobert. I'll take the others, Utah others, over your others. So because if it comes a series like that, I trust them more than I trust your guys. And that's what it comes down to, Skip. They're unflappable. I love Quinn. Skip, they got the zone, and then I see him come out. They pick the two guys. Now, Donovan missed the shot, but he splits the pick, had a great look at a basket, had a great look at a kick. He just missed it. I love the way Quinn Snyder is calling this series. He's doing a great job. And guys are stepping up and making shots. It's one thing. I've seen a lot of guys. I played with a lot of guys, Skip, make one-handed catches in the first quarter, the second quarter, third quarter. But that last drive when we need to get in field goal range or we need to get a touchdown to tie, all of a sudden they're looking like, John, don't throw me the ball. Throw it to Sharpe. Throw it to Ed. Nah, you just made a spectacular catch in the first half. I need that kind of energy. Hey, give me a look. And you see Utah, Skip, even though they had squandered that 21-point lead, had fallen behind by 2, the way they were shooting that ball, they weren't shooting hoping it going in. They were shooting the shot knowing it was going in.
It sure looked like it.
Bogdan was letting that thing go. Yeah. Joe Ingles had that thing high. He shoot that thing left-handed. And guess what? There's a great chance Mike Conley going to come back.
Very good chance. Yeah. I figure he's going to play.
No. We rest that thing. We want that thing 100%. We wanted 100%. As they say down south, Skip, y'all in a heap of trouble. Now, you know what a heap is. Yeah, y'all in a heap of trouble.
Yeah. So there was a play at the end of the game in which Paul George banged into Donovan Mitchell.
He did it on purpose.
And there was a spill taken by one Donovan Mitchell, and it looked like he turned his ankle that's been plaguing him a little bit. He said after the game he's 1,000% okay, no sweat, no problem. It looked like it was a little sweat and a little bit of a problem because he stayed down for a while because he took quite a hard fall, and it sort of came out of nowhere. He got a little blindsided by the collision, and he wasn't ready for it, and he hit the hardwood hard. So we should monitor just exactly how spry he is tomorrow night at Staples. I'm not sure he will have quite the same spring.
Stop hoping that he'll be just fine.
I'm just bringing up what my eye test told me at the end of the game.
My eyes told me you're going to be down 3.
So I'm going to reiterate what I said before this series. I have nothing but respect for Utah because all they did was have the best record in basketball this year. That's all they did.
Yeah.
They were ranked 3rd in offense and 3rd in defense, and that is hard to do.
Right.
And that is a recipe for a championship season. That's what that is. And they led the league in rebounding. That'll work.
Rudy had 20 last night.
He had 20, although guess who won the backboards?
Y'all won by 1.
By 1. The Clippers won the rebounds by 1.
Right.
So I take heart and hope in that. But your team, the Utah Jazz, also made more threes, as you well know, than anybody. They took more threes, but they made more threes. And they are supremely confident, as you said. When they stroke it like they mean it. And they seem to swish everything. Now, I saw that from Dallas, too.
Right.
But this team's a better three-point shooting. Remember, Dallas ranked 18th in three-point shooting. This team made the most.
Skip, but if you look at the way, the only shot, that three-point shot that you could say that was a lucky shot was Jordan Clarkson's bank. All the rest of them was pure. You look at Jordan Clarkson pulling up, Skip, he pulling up bouncing. Like, yeah, that thing good. Bogdanovich in the corner, yeah, that was good, too. Joe Ingles, yeah, that was really good. Donovan Mitchell, he pulling up in the first half, Skip. Them fake he's shooting the ball. You talk about Luka shooting it high. He's shooting that ball so high, it ain't nothing but net.
Yep. So all that your team has done is hold serve. That's all you've done. You've accomplished nothing more than you won your 2 home games. In your insane asylum, you won twice. Well, these things are 7-game series for a reason, because now the visiting team last night gets 2 at home. And I believe that the Clippers are made of the right stuff. And they won't win just tomorrow night. They will win, I think the next one's Monday night. They will win the next 2 at home and return to Utah 2-all with new momentum. Do
you want cases on that one?
Do you know how these things swing so wildly?
You will return to Utah down 3-1. Does Skip Bayless have the courage of your conviction?
Sure I do. Okay.
Right. Skip, you just, why you...
Is that diet?
That's a diet.
Yeah, good for you.
Why you turned me on to this earlier?
Well, because you lose it, you never win it. You've never had any.
Oh, boy!
That stuff is, it'll get you going.
Yo, Spider must have had like 2 or 3 of these.
Yeah.
Y'all in trouble.
Do you remember the little kid in Talladega Nights at the dinner table? I don't know if you saw Talladega Nights.
No.
Maybe you didn't. He was all jacked up on Mountain Dew. That's what's happening to you right now.
What you
all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Spider Mitchell drinking that old LeBron. That old one LeBron be saying. Yeah, that LeBron said.
Rise.
Yeah. Because he giving it to y'all, Skip.
Rise and shine. He is. But he got quiet in the 3rd quarter, and he was fairly quiet in the 4th quarter, and I believe we're starting to figure out how to play Donovan Mitchell.
What, a zone?
We may have to resort to zone, but here's what I love about my coach and my Clippers. They are forged in his image, and he was the architect of your greatest comeback. LeBron, 2016 Finals, down 3-1.
But y'all ain't got no LeBron.
Okay. We got 2 equal LeBron. We have 2. We have to add them together. We got Kawhi and Paul George. Paul George was really good last night. Did you see Paul George in the he scored 10 more in the 4th quarter last night.
Oh, yeah, but when the game wasn't even doing nothing.
That's not right.
Hold on. Paul George was 8 of 18. Is that 50%? Kawhi was 8 of 17. Now, so in the playoffs, now LeBron, most points per game just in a 6-0 start to playoff history.
Yep.
Kobe was 34.3, reached the NBA Finals. LeBron, 34.2, 2017, reached the NBA Finals. Donovan Mitchell, 37.2. We have yet to see. Michael Jordan, 37.2, 1993, reached the NBA Finals. Now, you see a reoccurring theme there, Skip? Now, I like LeBron over Kawhi. And I'm damn sure taking Kyrie over Paul George in playoff and pressurized moments. I will do that, and you would also.
Going into this series, everybody was making a case, including our man Chris Broussard, who will join us in a few minutes here, making the case that Kawhi Leonard was making his case to be the best player on the planet, best two-way player
Skip,
on the planet.
He ain't even the best player in this series.
Well, it's 2 games. 2 games.
Has he been the best player in this series?
Heck no.
Okay, then.
Now we change scenery. We go to Staples, and there's not going to be a crazed crowd at Staples. There might be about 6,000 people.
Kevin Durant has shown you, regardless of the series, win, lose, or draw, he's still the best player.
Best player on the planet.
He's the best player in the series.
Yeah.
In his particular series, given series, he's the best player.
Well, this is only 2 games in so far. And let me finish what I was saying about Ty Lue. This team is forged in his image, because what I love about Ty Lue is all during the Dallas series, when you wrote them off, I wrote them off, everybody wrote them off several times along that trail, Ty Lue never wavered. You heard not a discouraging word. There was no panic. There was no desperation. He just said, I've always been an underdog my whole life. This doesn't bother me a bit. And it trickled down to Kawhi and Paul George, and you laughed at Paul George saying, there's no desperation here. Well, they pulled it off, right? So
let me ask you a question. Utah or Dallas? Because, see, Skip, that's the same animal but a different beast. You see what I'm saying here? Donovan Mitchell and his squad, that Utah Jazz, that's a different beast than what they saw in Dallas. You know that.
They're better. They're better
I
than
think,
Dallas.
you know what, deep down inside, I think they know that.
Okay, deep down inside is a cold-blooded killer in Kawhi Leonard. That's why he's been Finals MVP twice. That's why he took over games 6 and 7 versus the Dallas Mavericks, and there was no question he was the better player than Luka on that floor for those 2 games. That's what you're about to witness. He is going to rise and shine. Game 3, Game 4 at Staples will belong to Kawhi Leonard, mark my words.
In that situation, Skip, you're going to need auxiliary players.
They got a bunch of them. In fact, Ty's got so many buttons to push. It's like, where do I go? Because all of a sudden, DeMarcus Cousins looks like he should get more minutes than Big Zoo should get.
Hey, but you see what happened. Derek Favors wasn't giving us anything last night. And once he got into the game, they started attacking the rim. They put Big Rudy in there. Big the Stifle Tower. 7 foot 2 inches tall. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Get it out of here.
I thought DeMarcus was just fearless, just going right up into it.
Man, he tried to run over.
Walked once, but that's okay.
Walked once, got a foul, got a couple of fouls. He can't do anything with Stifle Tower.
Yes, he can.
20 boards.
Yep. You watch. Ty will push the right buttons. Maybe they'll resort to zone again. Maybe from jump they'll play zone. They'll do something to discombobulate Utah because Ty Lue can outcoach Quinn Snyder. He will outcoach him. That staff with Chauncey Billups and company and Kenny Atkins, they're high IQ.
Good. Oh, they got a great coaching staff. Yep. But that product you're putting on the floor.
Yep.
That product you're putting on the floor. Oh, Mitch, he's a superstar, Skip. He's growing right in front of your eyes.
Okay, so I'm going to reiterate to you. My team was up 13 at half and ended up with the last-second shot to tie in Game 1. My team took the lead with 6:37 left last night and had you on the ropes. I just want you to remember that because they do.
I don't know. It sounds like y'all found a different way to lose to me. You was up 13 and you lost. You had a 2-point lead and you lost. So it just found out you're just finding different ways to lose the ball game. Same result.
I just hope you enjoy your 15 minutes of fame on this show today because it is rare. And you.
No, hold on. Why are you looking over here? I can't share this with you. You know what I'm saying? This was for winners. This whole winners do right here. You won't be having it.
I swim in it every day. I exercise in Diet Mountain Dew.
I might not sleep for 48 straight hours.
Joel Embiid has been lighting up the scoreboard and scoring 39 and 40 points in the first 2 games against the Hawks. Now the series shifts to Atlanta with each team taking a game apiece in Philly. Despite being the away team, the 76ers are a slight 1.5-point favorites in this one, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. So Shannon, who wins tonight?
I'm going to take Atlanta, Skip. I believe the Hawks will play a much better ball game. I believe the game will be a lot like Game 1. I'm not saying they're going to race out to a 20-something point lead, but I believe just being back home and the Ice Tray will definitely play better in Game 3 than he played in Game 2. I think everybody will play better in Game 2 than in Game 3 than they played in Game 2. Look, Joel Embiid is going to get him, Skip. Get his. Clint Capella just doesn't have enough bricks in his back pocket to anchor down and be able to keep Joel Embiid. But you just can't let Seth Curry, you can't let Tobias Harris also tag along and go 24, get 24, 23 points along with Joel Embiid's 40. You can't do that. And so with that being said, being back in Atlanta, Skip, you know what happened in hot Atlanta? You know how we do it down there. Get back there, get a couple of them wings. Lou going to take the guys, get some of them wings. Who knows? We might see some Sixers at the city, home of the world's best wings, them lemon peppers. I'm going to say it's going to be a close ball game, but I believe down the stretch the Hawks would do enough to pull away, and they'll show you why. I said this before, Skip. This is going to be a long series. I know a lot of people thought this was going to be a short series. I never thought it was going to be a short series. Even before the Hawks stole Game 1, I've always felt it was going to be a 6 or 7 game series, but I'm going to take the Hawks in a close ball game in Game 3.
Okay. So the Sixers are short favorites. They're a 1.5 favorite on the road at Atlanta. That's interesting to me. And by the way, in Game 2 back in Philly, Trae Young was cold. Okay. He got very cold.
That's when you go back that hot.
It gets cold in Philly. Even I guess in June it gets cold in Philly. At least for Trae Young.
Okay, so you poking fun, huh?
My strength.
You making fun? Okay. Okay.
He was 1 of 7 from 3, 6 of 16 from the floor. Is that guy? Is that Ice Tray that you're talking about?
He's that guy.
Really?
You're going to see.
Ben Simmons says, I got him. He's going to melt in front of me because I am 6 feet, 10? 6 feet 10, and he's about 5'11".
Yep.
So I'm going to smother him. I'm going to suffocate him with my length and my strength and my stamina and my resolve because he will lock down on defense.
We're going to put him in the pick and roll.
Okay. All right.
Go to work on the other guy.
Which brings me to the other guy on this team, who is the guy on this team. Listen, I'll say it one more time. Joel Embiid, to me, I'll take any night or any day over your man, Joker. I'll just take it. I know he He deserved the MVP because he played all 72 games.
That ain't the only reason he deserved it. Stop saying that.
It was just a longevity award.
So what about with Jamal Murray? What about Jamal Murray and Will Barton going down and he keeping him in the third slot?
He did, but he's going to have it. We'll talk about this a little later. But speaking of third, they're about to play their third game in this series, and he better rise and shine. He better be MVP this time because he's at home against a team that has got him on the run. 35, 14, and 8. Really? Well, speaking of big numbers, in Game 2 at Philly, Joel Embiid went for 40 and 13. He shot 16 free throws, and I don't doubt that tonight he'll shoot 20. Right. He just marches to the free throw line because he's just impossible to stop. All you can do is just hang all over him, drape yourself on him, and send him to the free throw line where he shoots almost 90%. I believe in Joel Embiid. I do not believe that Clint Capella has a prayer of even slowing him down, and his numbers are going to be right in the ballpark of that. They'll be 40-something and 15-ish on the rebounds and maybe 20 free throws. And it's so hard to overcome that he doesn't need that much help. He got some rare help because Doc pushed the right button the other night. Shake and bake. Baby, here he came. And he scores 14 just like that. Late third, early fourth. So how likely is that to happen again? Because even with Joel Embiid doing what he did, even with Seth Curry doing what he did, Tobias Harris, it took Shake to come off the bench and go and hit those 14 points in a span of 6 minutes. Boy, it looked like he was the one who deserved to go to Magic City, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. He looked like he's a little sweeter than Lou is at an advanced stage. So you actually think Ice Trae gonna play that bad again, huh? He might be a little bit better, but I think he's gonna struggle because I think they've drawn a bead on him. They figured out just make sure. And again, Ben's gonna have some help because they blitz him. They send somebody. They just say no, you can't do that. But Gallinari is starting to heat up. I like Werther, Bogdanovich. Bojan, not Bogdan. Bojan. You like time. Those Bogdanoviches. Yeah. Now, John Collins is going to give us more than 8 points. John Collins is 18.8 rebound guy. I expect that from him. Clint Capella going to man the boards. Look, he's not going to go 20 and 20 like Joel Embiid, but you lost DeAndre Hunter. That hurt. Yeah, that's another guy that can make young player. That hurt because he got hurt. So to me, Seth Curry will stay hot. Danny Green, he's just due a Danny Green game, a good Danny, not a bad Danny. No. He'll do a couple more of those. 1 of 5 from 3. He'll make 4 threes. You believe that? Yep, I do. Because when you least expect it, he'll just drop them right on your head. Atlanta going to be rocking, too. Yeah, Atlanta will be rocking. You thought Philly was rocking. State Farm going to be crunk. And guess what? Joel will just light up. 2 Chainz, Migos, JD going to be there. All full of fat. I agree. And they're going to be in awe of Joel Embiid. Luda, 2 out. We're going to turn up, ATL. Yes, yes. I got this. Welcome to Atlanta. I got Philly winning a close game, driven, powered by Joel Embiid. Okay. And you're going to come in here Monday, you're going to be disappointed. You'll be disappointed. It's going to be 2-1, and this thing will be over in 5. The Sixers are just Put some do it, don't be over in 5. No, I'm not going to do that. I didn't think so. No. I didn't think you had no courage in your conviction. It'll be over at least in 6. I won't go 5. It'll be 6. Since I won me 5 cases, going to win some more of this, You're the all-time front-running gloater, and I'm going to give you your one day because it's been too long. But Skip, I won sweepstakes. Tom Brady, you had the longest, hardest football season anybody's ever had. But I'm going to get it back this year. Yeah. But I'm not done with basketball season. We're not going to get to football just yet. We're not done with basketball because I'm going to get about 20 of those cases, those 40 that I got, I'm going to get about 20 of them back. Well, how are you going to get 20 cases back when LeBron's drinking cases of wine somewhere in St. Kitts or something? Because Utah going to get it back for me. Utah. Really? Oh, so now you found a new team. Utah. Bandwagon. And Atlanta going to get it back for me. Okay. So you got Utah and Atlanta in the finals? No. No. I said I got Utah and Atlanta against your 2 teams. That's what I do got.
Shannon,
you now have the Jazz winning in 5 games. So I assume you're picking the Jazz to win tonight.
Absolutely.
Is this a guarantee tonight that the Jazz are going to win this game?
You want 2 cases?
I believe in the Los Angeles Clippers.
Donovan Mitchell drops a bomb on the Clippers.
Oh, no.
They don't miss a trick, the Clippers.
I'll give you 2 cases that the Jazz hit at least 23.
Comfortable on that 3. Again!
You deserve it.
Whoa! I feel like Donovan Mitchell. Now I don't tell you what's going to happen.
Well, the Clippers continue to have no answers for Donovan Mitchell. The Jazz guard had a game-high 37 points in Utah's 117-111 win last night to take a 2-0 series lead. The Clippers took a brief lead in the fourth quarter, but then missed 9 straight shots and fell behind by 10 with 3 minutes to play. We are now joined by Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Chris, are the Jazz just too good for the Clippers?
Before you answer that, Chris, you need to do something. Before you answer that question. Now, I don't know if you use Uber Eats or DoorDash, but you need to run me my beignets by next Tuesday.
By Tuesday?
Next Tuesday? I need them here.
By Tuesday?
Yeah. I need that.
It's tough to get real, authentic beignet outside of Louisiana, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to go down to my peeps in Louisiana and try to get you some real beignet.
You from Louisiana? Your whole family from Louisiana.
Mess. I know. But I've never had real beignet outside of Louisiana, so I'm gonna get you some. I
sure appreciate that.
Man of my word.
Okay, well, take off then.
No, I don't think the Jazz are too good for the Clippers now, and I don't think this series is over. Obviously, it's going to be incredibly tough for the Clippers to come back and win. I'm not going to bury them, in part because of what we saw last series. In part because I don't want to be on this roller coaster. They're dead. They're alive. They're dead. They're alive. So I'm going to still say they have a chance. But look, history's against them because no team in NBA history has ever come back to win multiple series in which they were down 0-2 in the same postseason. So they're trying to do something that nobody else has done. The reason, though, that I say the Jazz aren't too good for the Clippers is because there's not a huge gap in talent. In fact, I would say on paper, the Clippers have more talent. But the thing is, the Jazz are a better team. Like, they play more of a team game than the Clippers do, who play more of an isolation, solo type game. And anytime you've got a talented team that plays more 5-man basketball versus a talented team, maybe even more talented team that plays more of a one-on-one style, the talented team that plays 5-man is going to win. That's what made Golden State so good before they got KD. You didn't look at that roster and say, wow, look how talented they are. They had talent, yes, but they played team basketball. Skip, you remember in 2014 when the Spurs, with an old Tim Duncan, beat up the Miami Heat, who had more talent. They played more of a team game than the Heat, which had a lot of ISO-type stuff in the way they played. So the Jazz just play really well together. They're very well put together. You've got the individual guy in Donovan Mitchell. So they've got their superstar who can take you off the dribble and create his own stuff. Jordan Clarkson does it as well off the bench and clearly did it last night. And that's not to mention Mike Conley. Then you've got great shooters, Joe Ingles, Bogdanovich around them. And obviously you've got the 7-footer in the paint, Rudy Gobert. So the Jazz are well put together, but too good for the Clippers? No. The Clippers still have a shot, but Kawhi's got to play like a superstar, not just a star, because Reggie Jackson's not going to keep this up. He was great last night, but he's not going to do this every night. So they got an uphill battle, but it is not over. The Jazz are not just too good for them to beat.
No, the Jazz are not too good to be beat, but they do execute really well in pressurized situations. And what we saw in the last series, the Clippers were able to withstand the Mavericks onslaught because down the stretch, they were unable to make those shots that they had made early. You look at Utah. Utah made shots early, but when the Clippers took that 2-point lead, what happened? Bogdanovich, bomb 3. Joe Ingles, bomb 3. And you get Royce O'Neal, bomb 3. Donovan Mitchell did not play particularly well the second half, but he was still able to get to his dominant hand and kiss the ball off the glass and get a two and make that shot. So that is the difference. You're right. They're not too good. They just execute really, really well. And that's without their second best ball handler on the court, Mike Conley, which I believe he will come back. Now, he might not play Friday night. They might keep him out until Game 4 Monday night. But if you look at the way they're built, and you touched on something, Donovan Mitchell is a tremendous pick-and-roll player. So you got Rudy Gobert, who's Defensive Player of the Year. We know what he is. But he can set incredible screens, roll to the basket. Now, if you try to take away that, you got 3 outstanding shooters on the outside. And that's what makes them so dangerous. That's why shooting is at a premium. That's what hurt the Lakers. Because the shots that the Lakers are missing, the Utah Jazz punish you with three-point shots. So they're not too good, but you're going to have to play your best, but you're going to have to be on your very best behavior. And that's not going to be good enough because you're coming back to Utah and you still won't give me my bet. I say you're coming back to Utah down 3-1. I want 2 cases right now.
Before I launch, I have a bone to pick with our producers here on Undisputed. Because the truth is, over the 5 years this man and I have been partners, I have won over 100 cases of Diet Mountain Dew on this show, sitting in this chair. And the one night that he actually beat me, the one rare night, he gets a video montage of him gloating so he can rub it in on both Chris and on me in this segment. I've never seen that. I've never had one video montage.
You don't need one.
I win bets like every other day on this show, and I don't get any. I don't understand it. It hurts me to my soul because last night the Clippers hurt me to my soul. Chris Broussard, I got to tell you, in all my years of covering, watching, studying the NBA, never has a team tormented me like the Clippers torment me. I believe in them because they're not the same old Clippers. They showed you once again last night, there's no quit in this team. The Clippers teams of the past would have folded last night under the onslaught in that insane asylum in Salt Lake City. And what happened? Joe Ingles made another shot with 9:27 left in the third quarter to put Utah up 21. I yelled to Ernestine in the next room, I can't even watch it anymore. So I went and stood in the corner and turned away from it. I just listened to what was happening. And all of a sudden, Reggie Jackson and Mr. June, he made another one, Reggie Jackson. And they come all the way back from 21 down at Utah to seize the lead with 6:37 left in the game. Reggie Jackson bombed 3 again, and you're down 2. And somewhere up in your palatial estate up in Bel Air, you are sweating.
Oh, word.
You think you're in trouble because I had 3.5. You gave me the visiting team plus 3.5, and all of a sudden I'm 5.5 points up on you with 6 minutes left in the game. And my Clippers proceeded to miss 9 straight shots. And they were all pretty quality shots. And if we could just see them real quickly, because I just got to torture myself and punish myself one more time to exercise the demons of last night. Starts off with a Batum miss from the corner. It's a really open look. He makes these like free throws.
That is Nicholas
Batum, but he can play.
Not Klay Thompson.
And then here we go with my man Marcus Morris, who, by the way, this team comes and goes as he comes and goes, and he missed a 3 there. And then we got a Pat Bev missed 3. And again, he's in the game for defensive purposes. He was 0 for 5 from
He with us. He with the Jazz.
Yeah, okay. And then here we go with my man Marcus Morris again. He was 7 of 9 from 3. 7 of 9 from 3 in Game 7 against Dallas, and there's the second miss. And then we get another little Pat Bev runner in the lane. No, don't try that. Bad idea, and he misses that badly. And then we come back to Marcus Morris, who's suddenly the evil twin, and that's a pretty open look, and he missed his third 3 in that procession of misses. Then Kawhi missed a little tip shot, and then here comes my man PG, who was Pandemic P missed one. That was to cut it back to 7, and it ends with Reggie Jackson, who had gotten them back in this position. He misses a little step back from the baseline, and that was to cut it to 8, and that was basically ball game. Way to go, Shannon Sharpe. Congratulations on your rare victory, but it took 9 straight misses on quality shots.
Right.
Well, guess what? Games 3 and 4, those shots will fall. I'm with you. I wish Kawhi had at least had one play run for him where he got an open look, because he would have made a 3 that might have sealed the deal.
But see, here's the thing, though, Chris. They don't realize it, but the Utah Jazz loves when Reggie Jackson gets hot. Because guess what? That takes the ball out of Kawhi and Paul George's hand. It throws them off a rhythm. So now they go 10, 11 minutes without touching the ball because Jackson is feeling it. So that feels good. And then when Pat Bev come in, I already know what he gonna do. You know, Pat Bev gonna go 0 for 5 from the floor, 0 for 2 with 75 claps. Now he gonna do it right here. Yeah! He gonna get them claps here. He gonna get them claps here.
Skin,
yeah,
and he's gonna snake the basketball away from somebody.
He ain't gonna get no baskets.
See about that.
He ain't gonna get no baskets.
Threes. He will in games 3 and 4.
But hold on. What playoff Rondo at?
The thing is, one of the challenges, Skip, and you show, and those were mostly good looks. That 0 for 9, most of those shots were really good shots. Yeah. But the problem is this has been their custom, right? Entering the playoffs of the 12 teams in both conferences that legitimately made the playoffs without the play-in, the Clippers were the worst in clutch time. So this was not an aberration necessarily. They have done this all year. So that's a problem. Also, and Kawhi, and I'm with you. Look, I trust Kawhi. I mean, I trust him to come out and have big games. But I got to give Bojan Bogdanovic some credit because he was in Kawhi's jock last night. I mean, you rarely see one-on-one defense like that anymore. That's how I want Kawhi to defend like Luka or somebody.
Or Donovan Mitchell.
I mean, he was all over Kawhi. And so that was good. And then here's the other thing, Skip. The Clippers, I'll give them credit. They went to the 2-3 zone in the second half, and it worked. They slowed Mitchell down, and they were playing with great intensity and urgency on the defensive end. And when they played with that urgency against Dallas defensively, they won. Last night they played with it, but they still lost. I'm with you in that I'm not writing them off, but again, uphill climb for darn sure for them to win this series.
Okay, but wait a second. Chris, uphill climb just describes this whole playoff run for the Clippers. They're not happy until they're unhappy. They're not the Clippers until they're completely written off, and I think most people will now say, well, that's enough of the Clippers.
But here's the thing, though, Chris. You talk about that, but what did it take for them to play with that kind of defensive intensity? They needed to get down 30-11. They needed to get down 21. Can you maintain that level of intensity for the entirety of a ball game? Can you maintain? Because we saw them when they came back, they ended up losing the next game. So what does that tell? They ended up losing game 5. So what does that tell you? That's something that they can't maintain. It's easy to play when you get down 21 to go, okay, guys, we got nothing to lose. But you look at this, Skip. Donovan Mitchell, 6 of 12 from 3. Jordan Clarkson, 6 of 9 from 3. Joe Ingles, 4 of 7. Bogdanovic, 3 of 5. 19 of the 23s made came from the guys that you won't taking the shots. The guys that y'all got missing is coming from the guys we won't taking those shots. We want Nicholas Batum. We want Marcus Morris.
Marcus Morris made 7 of 9 threes in Game 7 against Dallas. In Game 3, the crucial season-saving game, he made 3 straight corner threes that sealed the deal at Dallas.
So, in other words, he played really good in 2 of the 7 games. So what happened in the other 5 games? What was his three-point percentage?
Okay. Well, here we go back to he's now 1 of 12 over the games 1 and 2 at Utah. Let's get him in Staples and see if we get the good twin instead of the evil twin.
Oh, but what y'all gonna do? I just want to know one thing. What y'all gonna do about Donovan Mitchell averaging 41? That's what I need to know. Now, Chris. Now you've even said it again. The elite level defenders, Jordan and Pip. Now I want to know why they got a guy averaging 45 after a guy just averaged 35 for 7 games. Now, how is that elite? I just hate to see what Donovan Mitchell would average if they weren't any good.
He scored all of 10 points in the second half. I can live with that.
Skip, the man had 30, so you can live with him scoring 37?
Well, he torched him in the first half, and then here came the Clippers. So I saw my Clippers be up 13 at half in Game 1. I saw them go on a 46-23 run in the heart of the second half last night at Utah. I saw encouraged.
And guess what? Even though they were up 13, they lost. They were down 21, and to come back to lead by 2, they lost. So they're just finding different ways to lose ball game, Chris. What it looked like to me? What it looked like to you, Chris?
Well, look, I will say this now. I believe in Ty Lue because he has made some really good adjustments. We saw in the Dallas series when he goes small how that paid dividends. Last night, he's thrown everything at Donovan Mitchell. Finally, he may have found something that worked. Remember last year with Doc Rivers, the players were complaining. We didn't adjust. Ty is adjusting, so I think he can come up with something maybe to get them back in this series. But it'll be interesting to see how does Quinn Snyder counter the zone that the Clippers were playing.
It's only a matter of time. When you got a car, you know, you might change the spark plugs and it run for a little while, then it's the carburetor. You fix the carburetor, then the voltage regulator. If something keep going out on the car, because you know what, Skip? It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time for you.
I got the Clippers winning Game 3 and Game 4 for 3 cases. Done.
Yeah.
Done. I got it.
I get 3 cases. How many did you cover the case?
First time in 5 years you've had a sip.
I want to know how many did you cover the case. What would you say a case of these? 12, 18,
12.
Okay. So that means I won 5 cases. Yeah. That means I got 60 of these from you.
Yeah, you're going to be hooked.
The Bucks have avoided a sweep by taking out the Nets 86-83 in Milwaukee last night. Giannis and Chris Middleton combined for 68 points, good for 79% of their team's points, which is a playoff record from a duo. Now, Kevin Durant finished with 30 and had a long look at a potential game-tying three-pointer, but couldn't connect. Chris Broussard is still with us. Chris, did the Bucks win that game, or did the Nets lose it?
Well, first, I'm happy for Giannis. I really like Giannis. I think he's a great guy and he's a great player. And it will look much better on his resume to lose this series in 5 or 6 games than to go out in a sweep. So I'm happy that Giannis got this victory. That said, Brooklyn lost this game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, from start to finish, they clearly were not into it. They did not come in with the right mentality. The start of the game, Kevin Durant turns the ball over. The very first time he touches it, somehow it's in the backcourt with a turnover. They miss their first 7 shots. They fall behind 30-9. They weren't there. Durant picked it up, obviously, in the second half, but he still shot 11 for 28. First time that he has shot below 40% in a playoff game in more than 3 years. Since 2018, May of 2018. So he really wasn't there. Kyrie had 1 good quarter, the second quarter, and Joe Harris, who's one of the best shooters on the planet, he goes 1 for 11, 1 for 7 from 3, and he had some open looks, including an open mid-range jumper late in the fourth quarter that could have been huge for them. So the Nets just didn't bring it. What happened is this. They didn't show up. And in the second quarter, the role players didn't get the memo that they were tossing this game in. And Bruce Brown is playing his best game of his career. And Landry Shamet and Mike James are hustling. The role players got them back in the game. And so the guy said, well, hey, we might as well go ahead and win this thing. But you can't, when you don't enter with the right mentality, it is hard to turn it on and get it going in the middle of a game. And all that said, Brooklyn still had a chance to win. Chris Middleton played his best game since he was in high school in Charleston, South Carolina. Giannis played a big game. And they still barely won on their home floor. This reminds me of last series when the Nets lost to Boston in Game 3, and people think, uh-oh, maybe it's a series. No. The Nets are still very much in control and will win this thing easily.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. The likelihood of Kevin Durant shooting 11 of 28 from the floor, Kyrie going 9 of 22 from the floor, that's 20 of 50. They shot 12% lower from the field, Skip. They shot 36%, Chris. They normally have 48%. They shot 16% lower from the three-point line. They shot 25%. They normally shoot 41%. And Kevin Durant still had a look. at a game-time three-point shot. With all that, as bad as they played, only had, three guys in double figures. And as you mentioned, it was like Milwaukee thought they had dealt a death blow in the first quarter, and then they all of a sudden in the second quarter, like, okay, they're going to roll over. And as you said, the other role players from the Brooklyn Nets come in the game and say, hey, let's see what we got. Let's make a little run right here and see what happens. And then all of a sudden, I look up and I was like, am I watching the Lakers? Because they've gone 8 minutes and they've only gotten 3 points. And Brooklyn slowly climbed their way back into the ball game. And KD didn't play particularly well, except that fourth quarter stretch where he couldn't miss. And that, he came off the pick, hit that three. He had a couple of mid-range jumpers over P.J. Tucker. But when you look, when I look at this, I'm like, Chris Middleton, 12 of 25, 35 and 15. Giannis was 33 and 14. But Drew Holiday, he made that shot, Chris, but he is not. Now, maybe, and I'm going to give him this, I'll give him this much. He is guarding Kyrie. And that's no easy feat to guard Kyrie and still go out there and try to get your 20 points. So if that's the trade-off, but I don't know if he can score another 9 points and still have Milwaukee win this series, Skip. Win a game, let alone this series. But I think Milwaukee's like, you know what? We didn't play our best. We still can play better. But the Nets are kicking themselves in the butt like, man, as bad as we played, we still could have won this ball game.
Oh, absolutely. So, in the end last night, if this is possible, I lost even more respect for Milwaukee, more faith in Milwaukee as they won a game against the Nets than if they had lost the game. Because even in victory, I look at it and I say, this is as empty a victory as you get. They shot 19% from three and they beat the Nets. I don't know how they did that. It's because Joe Harris went 1 for 11. How many more times will he go 1 for 11 in these playoffs? Well, he won't. He was former three-point shootout champ. He went 1 of 7 from three. Well, how many times going forward will this team fall behind 30-9? Well, it just won't, because as Chris said, they just decided this was a walk in the park. They did not show up for the tip-off of this game, which was highly disappointing to me. It was concerning that a team led by KD and Kyrie would show up in Milwaukee and just la-di-da. Just say, we got this.
They could have put a nail in the coffin.
They could have. And for the rest of the game, Milwaukee was begging to be put out of its misery. It was just begging, like, we're not worthy. We don't belong on the floor with you guys. Just please end it for us. And Kevin tried to end it. He got going in the second half. He hit 9 out of 18. He made 20. He scored 23. He was pretty good in the fourth. Not spectacular, but pretty good. And he had a little flurry that finally put them ahead. And then, as Chris pointed out, Bruce Brown lost his mind and lost the game. if we could just see quickly, he has 2 possessions. They're up 1 with 20 seconds left, and Bruce Brown's having a great game by his standards. He's 8 of 15 with 16 points. And all of a sudden he decides, I got this. No, you don't got this. That was Kevin Durant's shot. That was Kyrie's shot.
You've been hyping him. You talk about Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown.
I hype him on defense. And yet you can't do that. And then Drew Holiday goes the other way and sweet little spin move, and all of a sudden they're in trouble. And then if we could see the Bruce Brown at the end of the game, 6.4 seconds to go, they botch the inbounds pass, and Bruce Brown says, oh, my God, what do I do? I'm desperate, and the clock's going off in his head, and he tries a driving left-handed sort of running hook shot over Brook Lopez, and it's got no shot.
Right. And
it hits nothing but hand, right? And it's like Bruce Brown took the 2 biggest shots of the night. You lost your mind. What are you doing? And I love him because he plays so hard, and he's kind of a facilitator on offense. And my final point is just to continue to hype the Nets and to fight this man off. You've been saying all year that the Nets can't play and won't play defense. Last night, they defended, to me, at a high level.
I think Milwaukee was just shooting terrible. Giannis just clanging up brick after brick after brick.
I liked how they play defense. They will try hard. They were trying a lot harder on defense than on offense. Maybe they were trying too hard on offense. I don't know. But they're not going to – Look, I mean, wait a second. The Brooklyn Nets scored 83 points in a game at Milwaukee. You're kidding me.
And normally KD and Kyrie have 80 between the two of them.
They would.
But I've never seen, Chris, this reminds me of a 90s type of ball game. Pacers and the Knicks, 83-76. I can't recall where I've seen a team and the bench scores 7 points for one team and 6 points for the other team. I don't think I've seen a game like that. I can't recall that I've seen a game like that, Skip.
I mean, Shake Milton scores 7 points in one possession, right? Oh.
It was a throwback game. It was like one of those 90s playoff games. And both teams had 15 or fewer assists. So it was a lot of one-on-one play. That last drive by Bruce Brown, Joe Harris was open.
He was.
In the right corner. He could have hit him for like a 18-footer. And I don't know why. See, you'll see Harris on the right side. And KD should have been spot. Look at KD. He wasn't really spotting up.
No, he wasn't.
I don't think he didn't want the shot because obviously he took it the next possession. But I'm not sure why he wasn't aggressively kind of spotting up for a shot. I don't know that Brown would have hit him anyway. Because you're right, Skip. Yeah, you could have seen there were even a few other ones before the first miss that you showed by Brown.
Yep.
He tried to go over Brook Lopez. He just got beside himself, you know.
He was smelling himself.
From Milwaukee. Right.
He was feeling it.
And you said, Skip, if you're Milwaukee, are you a bit deflated? Obviously, a win is a win. You'll take it. But this is the type of game that you would not have thought the Nets could have even had a chance to win, right? Because I agree with you. I think they're playing good defense. I think they're getting after it. Mm-hmm. They're hustling. Blake Griffin gives them a physicality that they didn't have before they got him. And if you would have said they're going to be in a game in the 80s against Milwaukee, you would have thought the Bucks win going away.
Yep.
So I thought Brooklyn showed some toughness, even as they just didn't execute well and were out of it mentally.
If you think about it and you say, well, they only scored 83 points, you think, well, they turned the ball over. Brooklyn only had 7 turnovers. Mm-hmm. Milwaukee only had 10 turnovers. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like they were just turning the ball over. They were just bricking it. They built a Great Wall of China with all those bricks they were throwing up last night.
That's true.
Joel Embiid has been lighting up the scoreboard, scoring 39 and 40 points in the first 2 games against the Hawks, but the 76ers managed to only win 1 of the 2 as the series now shifts to Atlanta. Now, despite dropping 1 of 2 at home, Fox Bet Sportsbook still has the 76ers as the clear favorite to win the series. So, Chris, how does this series play out?
Yeah, my pre-series pick was Philadelphia in 6. You know, I was assuming Joel Embiid would play. So I've got Philly winning tonight, going up 2-1. Atlanta winning game 4. Atlanta's tough at home. They've won 13 straight games now in Atlanta, which is their longest streak in more than 11 years. So they're tough there. So I give them game 4, and then I think Philly wins the next 2 to close them out. Obviously, the key is Joel Embiid. They just have no answer. Heck, nobody in the league really has an answer for Embiid. And look, you showed the highlights. He is a great mid-range shooter. Great. And he is an adequate three-point shooter. So I have no problem with him taking some jump shots. But I really like it when he attacks the basket, whether it's in the post or whether it's driving to the hole, because nobody can stop him. He's either going to score or they're going to foul him. And in this series, he's averaging almost 16 free throw attempts a game. So I want Philly's key is to have Embiid continue to attack the basket and not just settle for the jump shot. And the other players have to follow suit. Tobias Harris, the way they got that first quarter lead, that 13-point lead in the first quarter, is Tobias was attacking the basket. He was scoring in the paint. They had 24 points in the paint. Their advantage over Atlanta is their size. Atlanta can't deal with that. If you want to get into a three-point finesse game with Atlanta, then you're giving them a chance. But if they beat them up with their size, Philadelphia should prevail. Even defensively, the size is a problem because you saw the trapping with Ben Simmons, Matisse Thybulle. They have given Trae Young some problems. They found some answers. In the second half of game 1, He only had 10 points. I say only, but 10 points, and Philadelphia was able to get back in that game. In game 2, he has 21, which is good, but what he was doing previously, I mean, he was lighting everybody up. So they have found something that seems to be taking the ball out of Trey's hands, making other guys beat you. So Atlanta is playing great. You know, I think they've exceeded all our expectations. But Philadelphia, if they play the right way, they win this series.
Even though all that being said, Joel Embiid gave you 40 and 13. Tobias Harris gave you over 20. Seth Curry gave you over 20. It still took a Herculean effort from Shake Milton to really get separation in this ball game. Trae Young did not shoot the ball well. John Collins didn't play well. So I think there are things that Atlanta can take from this game, too, that says, hold on. As great as Joel Embiid is, and Joel Embiid is going to get his, Tobias Harris had over 20. Seth Curry had over 20. We were right there. We didn't play well. Now we're coming home, get some home cooking, you know, let that thing slow cook. Trae, go back to being Trae. That crowd's going to be electric. The stars come out in Atlanta for the Hawks. Ooh, I can just imagine. Man, I wish I was going. I'd be right there on the front row, me and 2 Chainz. Hawks winning this night. You want some on this one?
I want some on the series because you're talking bigger and bigger. Yeah. You are smelling yourself. I can smell it from clear across the table.
Atlanta?
Yeah. Well, originally, I had the 76ers in 7. But I'm feeling good about this. I feel good that old Ice Trae going to do something special tonight. I think I might be leaning towards the Hawks in 7.
Okay, I'll do 5 cases on that now. Why not?
Nope.
Courage of your convictions. Put your due where your mouth is.
I'm not going to let the casino get my winnings back. I just won.
So you're going to walk away?
I'm going to give you a chance to get it back slowly.
I believe I'm with Chris. I'm right in alignment with Chris. I'll stand by what I said pre-series. I said Sixers in 6, and I believe the Sixers will dominate tonight because I believe the monster that is Joel Embiid, who is better than Jokic. I'm sorry, I'll take him any day or night. You'll get to see them up against. Jokic has got a tall task ahead of him in Game 3 at home, but Embiid's going to go on the road to your home away from home, the ATL. And he is going to destroy Clint Capella the way he did in Game 2. They have no answer for him, and he knows it. So he's going to be 40-something and 15-ish on rebounds, and he's going to shoot 20 free throws. Nobody in the league shot as many free throws a game as Joel, and he only makes them at like an 85% clip. So he can really shoot free throws. For a 7-footer, he's the best 7-foot free throw shooter I've ever seen. And I'm with Chris. The attack mode mentality he started to get later in the game, you're going to see that all night long, and he's going to make it really hard for them to do much with anything with the Sixers on offense. And on defense, little Maestre, he was cold. He was shivering in Philly.
He won't be that way in Atlanta.
Listen, Ben Simmons just locked him up.
Okay.
He's just too
real
long
big.
and tall.
You're talking big.
Well, I'm talking for Ben Simmons. I'm not talking for me.
No, you're talking for
I'm not even a Sixers fan. I'm a Joel fan.
That's okay.
And I'm a Doc fan.
But you're going to tell me Atlanta going to turn the ball over 18 times that lead to 28 points for the Sixers? Look, Joel Embiid is going to get his. But you just can't let Seth Curry and you can't let Tobias Harris go off and get theirs. So somebody's going to have to neutralize that. I expect John Collins to play better than what he played the other night. So with Ice Trae and John Collins playing better, think about that, Skip. As great as Joel Embiid was playing, even though Tobias Harris and Seth Curry had monster nights, it took Shake Milton to get away from him with 18 turnovers. Now we cleaned that up. Go back to the ATL. Get a little home cooking. Get to sleep in our own beds. Maybe get to run a few errands last night, run a few errands, you know, down on Forsyth Street. You know what I'm talking about, Chris? Hey, we right back in business again. 2-1 Hawks.
Nope. I'll give you one game at home, but it won't be this game.
Tonight.
It'll be Game 4.
Tonight.
And it'll be just a desperation Game 4 just to survive.
I'm with you on Embiid. Look, I'm glad. I have no regrets about voting for Jokic as MVP. He clearly deserved it. But Embiid's better. Embiid, I think, is just more impactful and just dominant.
When he plays.
The thing Jokic has over him, though, is that the health issue. if I was building a team, that's something you'd have to seriously take into consideration is Joel just doesn't really stay healthy. They got to figure something out so that his health isn't such an issue. But outside of that, I'm with you on him being better than Jokic.
Hey, Chris,
Jokic's great.
We all had employers, and they say, man, you know that kid, he a really hard worker. If I could just get him to come to work. We've all heard guys say that. We said that about a lot of people have with Chris. If I could just get him to come to work, he'd be so good. The other guy just shows up to work, does his thing. Just give you 28, 10, and 8.5.
Yep.
That's all he does. For 82 games, the other guy shows up, he gives you 28, 11, and 3, but he only going to show up 60 days a year.
Old Joker, he showed up for work twice in Phoenix, and it wasn't even close.
Really?
Really.
Y'all the number 2 seed. Yeah. Y'all picking on the number 5 seed, and we already took one.
Is he the MVP or not? Is he that guy or not?
Atlanta took a game off y'all. So we coming home, like you said, we coming home, get a little home cooking.
Yep.
And we're going to see what I'll talk to you on Monday.
Yes, we will talk. And it'll be 2-1.
You see, to see if you have that same energy, I'm going to need that same energy. See how you got, with your arms all folded, like you got everything under control? I'm going to need that on Monday.
You'll get it on Monday.
Okay.
You'll get both barrels on Monday.
You're going to be so sad on Monday because your Clippers going to be down 0-3. You're going to be sad on Monday.
The Nets gave up Game 3 to the Bucks in the lowest scoring game of the series, but will have a chance to still take a commanding lead on Sunday in Game 4. The Nets were favored by as many as 2.5 points earlier this morning, but currently sit at 1.5-point favorites according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. So, Shannon, who wins Game 4?
Skip, if Holiday plays better, I believe they can tie this series up. He had 9 points. He was 4-14, 1 of 4 from 3. He was -6 in Game 3. Skip, in Game 2, he had 13 points, 6 of 10, 1 of 2 from 3. He was -27. In Game 1, 17 points, 7 of 19, 2 of 7 of 3, -13. So, Skip, the advantage that the Bucks have in this series, because James Harden is out, is that their third best option is better than anybody that Brooklyn can put on the court. Because the two, obviously, KD and Kyrie, are better than Giannis and Chris Middleton.
Yep.
So the advantage that they have is that True Holiday is better than anybody that they put out there. But he hasn't been very good. He needs to be the Holiday that they traded for and gave him that 4-year extension. He needs to be that guy. If he's that guy, I believe they tie the series up, Skip. Giannis, look, Middleton can't play any better. 44 minutes, 35 and 15. In 43 minutes, Giannis was 33 and 14, even though he wasn't that efficient. What he did in the first quarter, Skip, if you notice, a lot of his points were going to the basket.
Yep.
Euro step dunk, laying the ball up. Now, Brooklyn might just say, you know what, guys? If he gets in the paint, just grab him. Just grab him and hold him. Because he ain't going to make the he's not going to make the free throws. Not enough free throws to hurt us.
No.
So for me, Skip, I believe they tied and I don't really like using caveat, but I will say this. If Holiday is the Holiday that he was in the regular season, for just this game, now I'm not going past this, just for Game 4, if he plays better, they tie this series up and they make it a series. Because if they don't win this game, they're not winning no 3. They're not coming back on that team 3-1. That's not happening.
And I say, speaking of Holiday, that the Bucks are about to be on holiday permanently for the rest of the offseason fairly quickly.
So they're not going to win another game.
They're not going to win another game. I didn't think they'd win that game last night. And I've never seen anything like what the odds makers just told us. The odds makers watched that game last night, and Milwaukee went into that game as a 3.5-point home favorite.
Correct.
They will enter Game 4 at home as much as it got up to 2.5. So they were as much as a 2.5-point dog at home. Well, that's a 6-point swing off a win.
Right.
So what did I tell you a few minutes ago? I said I actually lost faith in Milwaukee as they won the game last night because of how they won it.
The odds makers did too.
They did. They lost a whole lot because that's a pretty wild swing. Yeah. And unless you tell me it's the Jeff Green factor, because I think he's going to come back for the next game. That's what they said. He's close. He had plantar fasciitis. Right. And they said he might have been able to play 3, but they're pointing toward 4.
Right.
Well, I don't think Jeff Green swung that spread 6 points.
Now, if you told me James Harden, now Skip, okay, oh, you got me. No. I don't know if Jeff Green is swinging the pendulum
not like this.
In a line like that.
So all the odds makers saw was that Milwaukee at home shot a grand total of 38% from the floor and 19% from three. It's pathetic. I don't know the stats on this, but I think you'd be hard-pressed to find teams winning with those kind of shooting numbers.
Right.
Right?
No, you're not winning with
no. You just can't. Especially at home.
Right.
Like the flip side of this was the Dallas game on that fateful Game 3 Friday night, 2 Friday nights ago. Mm-hmm. At home, they make 23s and they lost. Right. And no team in the history of the playoffs had ever made 20 at home and lost. And somehow the Clippers overcame the 20 and won going away. I think that was it ended up being a 10-point game. Well, this is the flip side of that because Kevin Durant and company come out and just stink it up and fall behind 30-9. And then they barely got some rhythm going, and they chipped away, and they were in command thanks to a Kevin 3 late in the game. And they should have just slammed the door on him, and Bruce Brown couldn't slam it. He actually slammed his finger in the door, right? Both times.
If I look at these stats, Giannis, Middleton, KD, Kyrie, and Brown combined for 80%, almost 81% of the points scored in Game 3. That's the highest percentage by 5 players in postseason history. Man. Skip, check this out. Entering Game 3, 90% of Kevin Durant's three-pointers had been contested. He's making 50% of the 90% that he took. That's how great he's been. Mm. But last night, he was off the mark. So you telling me Kevin Durant, given what he had been coming into this, is going to be what he was last night? I don't know. I don't think I'm not pinning my head like, yeah, KD gonna have another off game. He don't normally put together especially come playoff time. He don't normally put together stinkers like what he threw up last night. Now he had great numbers. You look at the end of it, 30 points. You're like, okay, but it took him 28 shots to get those 30.
It did. I thought P.J. Tucker did an extraordinary job on him because P.J. will
Skip, I wanted Giannis to get him.
Fight.
Skip, hold on, wait a minute.
Right, but the problem is P.J.'s like 6'5".
Right. Giannis is a defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
And when KD got it going for that stretch in the fourth quarter, I don't care what Bud said. Well, because Giannis always, he likes to use this. I'm just doing what my coach says. How many times does a player say, I don't care? No, I got it.
True.
Because that's what KD did. Bruce Brown was guarding Middleton.
He was.
KD said, no, I got it. Mm-hmm. That's what Giannis got to take. Take that responsibility. I'm not saying take him the whole game because you're right. In a situation like that, Skip, it's going to take too much out of you offensively. But the last 3 to 4 minutes of the ball game, you got to roll your sleeve up. It's just like, Skip, when we went to the 4-minute offense, 22 personnel, 2 backs, 2 tight ends. Okay, Shan. Alex Gibbs used to say, okay, Sharpe, you lift all them damn weights, okay? Put it to use now. Okay, Giannis, you're defensive player of the year. The last 3 minutes of the ball game, KD getting it going? Bud, I got it.
Is Giannis quick enough to stay in front of him?
He did. He run defensive player of the year. Skip, that's like if my defensive player of the year is a center, I can't ask. That's like Elijah Wan. Elijah Wan can't go to Otis Thorpe and say, you take David Robinson. No, you the defensive player of the year. You take him. And vice versa. You take him.
Well, they acquired P.J. for a reason, and one of the reasons was to defend this guy. They're both from the University of Texas, obviously, and they have a relationship. But listen, P.J. gets up in him and fights with him. But the problem is KD is so much taller.
Yes.
If KD can just get one free dribble, then he just rises, and then there's no contest.
Yes.
You can't contest this up here when you're 6'5".
Exactly.
And I don't think he's more than 6'5".
You being nice.
Yeah.
The thing is that he's stronger than Giannis. His body, so he's able to, dislodge, KD. KD can, try and back him down and shoot over the top, but it's harder for him. Granted, but Skip, if I'm Giannis, I'm a 2-time MVP. I'm defensive player of the year. Skip, I got to take this challenge. I got to take the challenge. And we see it. KD in situations like that, give me LeBron. I might not have had him the whole game, but give him to me now. Vice versa. LeBron says, okay, we see LeBron. Kawhi gets it going late in the ball game, give me him. Whomever gets it going, that's the way it's supposed to be.
But speaking of taking the challenge, doesn't Joe Harris have to take the challenge?
You can't get on Joe Harris going
1 of 11 and 1 of 7. He's as deadly, both mid-range and three-point shooter, as there is in the league. If you give him open looks, he just cashes. He's been such a dangerous part of this offense where he's the one who gets all the open shots, and they left him open last night, and he couldn't catch.
But, Skip, think about this. When have you seen a game and a team only shoots 8 free throws? No. And Kevin Durant shot 6 of them.
They don't get to the free throw line because they just pull up and shoot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, and what you call them, they were just terrible.
Remember, if you got Brook Lopez who can really protect the rim, and Giannis, well, they can't get to the basket, and they don't try to get to the basket.
No, they're not. They're really not trying. They're a perimeter shooting team, and that's what scares you, Skip, because the team that shoots, you go cold one night, and the team that can get inside, that's why Joel Embiid can cause them problems. Yeah. Blake Griffin ain't doing nothing with Joel Embiid. Claxton's not doing anything. You might have to see some DeAndre Jordan. You might have to use up all your fouls. Blake foul out, Claxton foul out, DeAndre Jordan, you foul out. But because if you just think you're going to just one guy at him, because Giannis ain't shooting anything outside the paint.
And remember, there's this guy named Kyrie Irving who was very quiet last night.
He
will not be quiet.
Holiday, I'm going to contribute some of that to Drew Holiday.
Maybe.
Because Holiday...
He was dogging him. He was all over him.
Yeah, Holiday can play some defense now. And maybe that is zapping some of his energy on the other end. But I just don't know if you can go 4 for 14, 6 of 10, 7 of 19, and beat the Brooklyn Nets.
Nope.
You got lucky last night. You dodged one last night, Skip. You pulled a Matrix. You did a Neo. You dodged a bunch of bullets last night.
That is correct, and that will not happen in 4 and 5.
Chris Paul and the Suns can nearly shut the door on the Nuggets tonight by taking Game 3 in Denver. Phoenix won the first 2 games by a combined 42 points, but are a slight road underdog. So, Shannon, who wins Game 3?
I'm going to take the Nuggets. But Joker's going to have to get some help, Skip, because if you look at what he did in game 2, he was 24, 13, and 6. The rest of the starters was 26, 11, and 4. They can't even get an opportunity to use him in the fourth quarter because the Suns have blown the game open. So they don't even get a chance to. But I expect them tonight. I think I gave you the stat line earlier. I would say 35, 13, and 8. But he's going to need some help, Skip. Gordon and Porter, they need better. They were 17 points on 6 of 20. Hopefully, Michael Porter Jr., his back has gotten a little better. Skip, he had a back problem coming out of college, and that's what probably caused him to slide down the draft board. Yeah. But he can flat out play. He can shoot the ball. But the guards have got to do better. Rivers, Compazio, and Morris, 12 points on 4 of 19 shooting. Yeah, that won't do. And you look at Skip. The Phoenix had 6 guys in double figures. Bucket 18 and 10. Chris Paul was 17 of 15 with no turnovers. DeAndre Ayton 15 and 10. Mikal Bridges 16 points. Crowder 11. Torrey Craig. You got to get some help other than Joe, because remember, Skip, Joel Embiid had 40 and 13. But it took Seth Curry, Tobias Harris, and Shake Milton getting in double figures in order for them to secure the victory. So give Joke a little help. He'll bring it home. Watch him tonight. He's going to show you tonight why he won the MVP.
He better show me tonight. This better be an MVP caliber performance from him.
35, 13, and 8?
He has to take this game over.
No problem.
The problem with Joker is because he never seems to get too high or too low, because he plays with so little emotion, it's hard for him to come out in a one-game scenario and electrify the crowd and his team with his body language, because his body language is always sleepy to me. Because that's the way he plays, but he plays great, sleepy kind of basketball.
Well, see, plus, Skip, the thing that he's not going to dunk the ball on somebody, and he's not going to shoot 35-foot threes like Luka to get the crowd involved in the game.
Okay. It also doesn't detonate his own team. He'll get those numbers sort of slowly but surely. Yeah. Usually at the end of the game, I look and say, he got that? I don't know how he got it.
Because you look at the Skip, the game that Dame had 55. Yoke had 39. He had 39 and like 13. Okay. You like, huh?
So now we have Michael Malone, the coach who cried wolf, has trashed his team yet again. When they lose and lose big, they either quit or they're soft. They quit or they're soft. And it's like every other night when they lose, we quit, or we're soft. Well, after a while, it rings hollow to me, because I don't think his team even listens to him. And Joker said after the game, I didn't quit because I don't think he quits. I think he plays the same way. That's how he lasted 72 games.
Right.
He just plays the same way at the same speed and pace every night.
Right.
His RPM is the same. It doesn't run red line hot.
Right.
It just stays right here, and it's very good. Obviously, he deserved the MVP. You got it right. You were right. Just on 72 games.
Stop doing that.
No, it's 70. He lasted longer than Embiid lasted, and he continued to play at a very high level. And I give you, he did it without two of his starters.
Yeah.
Two of his starters. Now Will Barton is back. Jamal's obviously not going to come back. But they've run into a buzzsaw that plays hot and high.
Yeah,
it just plays at such a high level on both ends of the floor. They just sort of found themselves in the bubble last year in those last 8 games, and they've just continued on the buzzsaw ride.
Yeah, I can't lie. Since that Game 5, since they beat the Lakers out here that Sunday, Skip, they look like one of the 2 best teams in the NBA.
Well, they do. And they were. Yeah. They proved it, and your Utah Jazz proved it. That was the first best team, and this was the second best team.
Yeah.
And they're well coached, and they have the all-time great veteran quarterback running the show in Chris Paul, and this is a huge, we talked about it yesterday, this is just huge for his legacy. He needs to take this team a distance. And remember, in Game 1, they had 4 starters score 20+, and then you just pointed out in Game 2, they have 6 double figures. Well, it comes from everywhere. They're hitting literally on all cylinders, and there are a bunch of cylinders to hit on.
Well, I think the biggest thing that helps the Suns, Skip, is that when you look at them, a lot of times, Skip, when you get teams, guys in this situation, everybody's trying to prove something.
Yep.
So that means I need to get, instead of getting my normal 10, 12 shots, let me get 25 because I got to show you I can score. Devin Booker's like, you know what? Devin Booker hadn't taken more than 14 shots in this series. He's like, okay, we going to win. Y'all going to see me on the big stage, and then I can show you what I'm about. You look at Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder knows what he is. He says, I'm a utility guy. I play D. I shoot the 3. I hustle. Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton. Everybody fulfills a role. And Chris Paul says, you know what? I just get to be the quarterback. I can throw it to you, and I'm going to get very similar results. So that's a great situation to be in. You don't have that very often, Skip, where you have guys that not going out there trying to prove something. Well, I'm going to show you I'm an all-star. Okay. I'm going to show you I'm a max player. Because we saw that from another team where a guy was trying to show you he was a max player, and it hurt the team.
So without Jamal Murray, this Denver team has gone as far as it can go. It has actually overachieved to get to this point.
Overachieved. Why yoke?
No.
Why yoke? Okay.
I'm watching sweep.
Well, Kevin Durant and P.J. Tucker got into it midway through the 3rd quarter of last night's game. As the two were being separated, a Nets security guard came in and pushed Tucker. Shannon, did the security guard help or hurt the situation?
That's Kevin Durant's personal security guard. But he's on the Nets payroll. Why would you? Whoa, bruh. What happened to de-escalation? Why would you do that? This is not a street situation. This is a basketball court. You just can't come in there and push the guy because he got in your guy's face. Now, see if PJ probably thought it was one of his teammates because PJ should have just turned around and fired him up. Yeah. Because you running it like that. Don't do that.
Didn't you think it was just one of your basic arena security?
Yes, that's what I thought it was. But it's been reported that's KD's personal security guard. PJ should have turned around and fired him up.
Well, seriously.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No.
No personal security guard can enter the floor of play.
No.
To try to de-escalate when that's only going to make it.
You're only making it worse. Whew. And I'm sure all these high profiles, most of these guys from AD to Kawhi to LeBron, all these guys got personal security. But you can't get involved in a situation like that.
I thought after all the fan incidents that we've had of late that some overzealous security guard just sort of went over the edge and ran onto the floor to stop the quote-unquote fight and almost started a fight.
Right.